Good evening. My name is Sue Coleman. I'm chairman of the Leadership Bartlett Alumni Association, who is co-sponsoring this event with the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Candidates Forum for the positions of aldermen in Bartlett. Thank you to the candidates for giving us the opportunity to hear more about each of you and your views for the future. There are 10 men here tonight vying for 3 open alderman positions. We also have 3 men vying for the open mayor position. That means there will be 4 new members on the 7-member board of mayor and aldermen, which will significantly change the makeup of the board. This makes it a very important election. Thank you all for attending tonight to learn more about the candidates to make an informed decision. I also want to take this opportunity to let you know a little bit about Leadership Bartlett. It is recruiting members for the 2023 class. The program began in 1990 and has been going on for 30+ years annually. If you want to learn more about the ins and outs of Bartlett, this is your opportunity to do so. It is a 6-month program designed to give citizens and business people a comprehensive view of all the aspects of the community that makes up the city of Bartlett. Now I would like to introduce you to John THREADGILL, who is president of the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Sue. Welcome, everyone. It's great for y'all to come out on this beautiful evening here in Bartlett. I am John THREADGILL, president of the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are very excited to be able to put on this forum and introduce you to our candidates for city alderman. As Sue mentioned, this is very important. There's going to be a major change in this community in our leadership. We will have a new mayor, and half of the Board of Aldermen will be new to this position. So it is very important that this community know who the candidates are and know what their stands are and whether or not you believe these candidates, which ones can lead this community in the future. I have been here at the Bartlett Chamber now for 16 years. I was here in 2006. I followed Sue, who was here for 21 years. I was very honored to come here to Bartlett and been here ever since. And when I first arrived, I was kind of wondering, okay, what am I doing here? And it did not take long for me to realize that I had stumbled on a job that was very rewarding. Because whether you know it or not, this community is extremely dynamic, especially in the business community. And I'm speaking primarily of its businesses inside Bartlett Corporate Park and others around Bartlett. There was a study that just came out last week. Some of you might have seen this. The Suburban Chambers of Commerce, we have an organization called the Suburban Chambers Alliance, and we commissioned a study to be done by Younger Associates, and they are an economic analysis firm based out of Jackson. We've had a lot of history with them over the years. We commissioned them in partnership with EDGE. Some of you may know EDGE. It's the Memphis-Shelby County Economic Development Growth Engine. And we commissioned this study to determine what impact the suburban parts of Shelby County have on the Memphis MSA, or specifically Shelby County. The study was very revealing. Suburban Shelby County definitely pulls its weight. We are a major contributor to the Memphis economy. But what's even more interesting is that Bartlett, Tennessee, of all 6 suburban communities, the economic significance of Bartlett, Tennessee was almost equal, shy of about $300,000 of all 5 of the other suburban Shelby County communities. In other words, Bartlett is large in its economy and its impact on Shelby County as all the other 5 suburban communities. So that says a lot about Bartlett. Bartlett is a dynamic economic engine. And the question is, are we going to keep it that way? Are we going to be moving forward and are we going to continue to be dynamic? So that is what your job is to decide whether or not you want that to happen, and are you going to have to select the leadership to make that happen. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Randy Lillard, who will be our MC, and he will introduce each one of the candidates and try to keep us on track. We also have some timers right here in front. Each candidate will be given 5 minutes to answer their question. I'll probably take away some of your spiel, but anyway, you can go there. We have Beverly Holmgren, who is our local Bartlett comedian. If you know Beverly, you know what I'm talking about. But Beverly is a longtime Bartlett resident, and she's an asset for this community. We're very pleased to have her. And next to her is the mother of the chamber, and that's Kathy Carl. And she does everything. You know, all I have to do is just, you know, pretend like I work and then let Kathy do it all. Make sure it's done. Okay, with no further ado, Randy Lillard, I'm going to introduce him quickly. As Sue mentioned, this is a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and the Bartlett Leadership Bartlett Class, Alumni Association rather. And Randy is a member of that. Everyone involved in this committee doing these forums are members of the alumni. And Randy is a graduate of the 1996 class. He was also president of Leadership Bartlett Alumni Association from 1999 to 2000. Randy has been very involved in this community. He's been a citizen of Bartlett since 1975. However, he is a native of North Arkansas, and he is a Razorback, so I won't, you know, hold that against him too much. Some of you may have been around when Randy put on the leadership forums back in the early 2000s, say from 2000 to 2006. He got Peyton Manning and others to come to speak. It was a great format. I actually was honored to be able to attend one of this his last year of doing that. But Randy has been very much involved in this community. In 1981, he has been a member of this Chamber of Commerce. It's 1 year after we were founded in 1980, and had a CPA firm here in town for 20 years. And then he started in Edward Jones' office here, and he's had that for 20 years since 2001. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Randy Lillard.
Thank you, John. Thanks to all of you for being here tonight and your level of interest in this election. Before tonight's forum, all the candidates were briefed on the ground rules and they agreed to those ground rules. The candidates are seated in the order of the position they are running for, and lots were drawn to determine the order in which they would speak tonight. The candidates have also agreed to the following format. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and discuss their candidacy. As John mentioned, there'll be official timers down here in the front who will be signaling to the candidates when they're nearing their completion of their time. Candidates may refer to limited notes, but they cannot use any technology. There are tables across the front here as well as in the back foyer. After all candidates have spoken, they will be invited to go to their table, and at that point, any of you are welcome to go and visit with them at your leisure. At that point, the official part of this evening will be concluded. With that, we will begin with our candidates. For position 1, our first speaker will be CASPER BRIGGS.
Ready? You're not running yet, are you? Well, I'll speed it up. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm ready when you're ready. All right. Tonight, I'm excited. I'm excited about the future of Bartlett. I'm excited about the upcoming election. And, you know, it's an exciting season to be a president. With the change in the leadership that's fixing to occur here, you have a choice. You have the opportunity to impact our future, your children's future. So for the last 2.5 decades, we've had almost the same leadership. They've done a great job, but it's time for those guys to move on, and let's bring in some younger, passionate leaders here to Bartlett. So, can you hear me? Are you listening? All right, yeah. All right, so let me ask you a question. Who is the best candidate? That's what you got to ask yourself. I know a lot of you guys have already chosen a candidate, but listen to what I got to say here first before you vote. So, this city deserves a candidate that will be the next leader for this great city. A leader that will raise up the next generation for Bartlett. That's what I expect to do. This night is about a choice. This election is about the choice you have to make. So, I know who I'm voting for, and let me tell you a little bit about that person. So that'd be me. So, I would not be here today if it were not for the adversity that I had to overcome to get here. My mother, single parent, we lived in a house off Old Groundswell over there, 5 children. The greatest thing she ever did for me was bring me over here and put me in an exceptional school district. Because through that education and that resource that the city provided, it was able to lift me out of poverty and help me to build wealth and become a homeowner here in Bartlett. And so those life experiences, they're more valuable than gold. That taught me a very important lesson growing up, that success is a mindset that you put into action through dedication and hard work. That's something that's rang true in my life. I've always been the underdog, but let me tell you, it doesn't scare me, because with determination and a mindset of success, a mindset of dedication, that's how I charted a path to college. That's how I graduated with honors with a degree in mechanical engineering. That's why I, the youngest engineering manager at the largest firm in town, worked there for 10 years. And that's why I am able to serve the city of Bartlett on the Planning Commission, Design Review Commission, Shelby County Code Advisory Board. And I utilize my professional engineering license for that purpose as an advisor to the city. So if you're looking for an alderman that has experience, look no further. So, as a professional engineer, it's my responsibility to uphold the health, the safety, and the welfare of the citizens of the community. And as a member of the Planning Commission, Design Review Commission, that's exactly what I've been doing for the last decade almost. And so I want to continue that work that I've been doing there that attracts new businesses. And I understand the processes within the government and how to affect change. I've been a part of that for the last 10 years. Compare me to your other candidates and then make a decision. You deserve an alderman that has a vision for the city. It's vital for the future of Bartlett that we overcome the current stagnant mindset. We have to be intentional. We have to plan for growth that allows us to pay our workforce a comparable wage. We want to keep those individuals here. We have to provide a strategic vision for Bartlett. We need to update the master plan. It's 2.5 decades old. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to help with. We need to primarily focus on ensuring the safety of our citizens. That's why I moved to Bartlett, the safety and the education system. That's why I put my children in school here. So without safety, we cannot thrive. So that's primarily the focus of our government. That's what we need to be providing to our citizens. We no longer hold the premier status of the fastest growing city in Shelby County or in the state of Tennessee like we used to. Those families that continue to choose surrounding communities, why is that? We need to do a little self-reflection. We need to figure out why. In Bartlett, we have the resources to provide those amenities, to attract those families, to attract those individuals who are looking for a place to live, to retain the families. Why are we declining in population when we have the highest taxes in the county? Ask yourself. And so what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? All right, so you deserve a leader as a candidate. For aldermen, the current board over the last several years, they kind of lost a little focus here in the end. I'll pat them on the back, they've done a great job, but it's time for a younger generation to step up. Now you have the responsibility. It's on you guys to choose. Who do you want to be the next leader? You want an exceptional leader to chart the direction of the city that is engaged, intelligent, takes a logical approach to problem solving, a leader that is passionate. I have to express my qualifications to you. You've now seen my vision. You have the justification to elect the most qualified candidate. Vote CASPER BRIGGS.
Thank you, Casper. The second of our 4 candidates for position 1 is Mr. Jimmy D. Norman.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank each one of you for taking up your time and coming out here and having the interest in our government to pay attention to what's going on and who's running for what. We want to thank you very much for that. Also, I don't even really consider myself a politician. I'm going to consider myself a liaison between you people and the City Hall. Y'all are number one, folks. This is your city. We want to hear you, and we want to know what you want, and we want to do it the very best that we can for our great city of Bartlett. You know, this is a great city to live in, to send our children to school. We got the best school system around. We got a great school system. We got safety. We got a lot of good things going for us right here in Bartlett. And that's because our forefathers have done a lot of things to get us on the right track to bring us right here where we are now. And my name is Jimmy Norman, and I'd like to introduce my lovely little wife out here, Miss Sue Norman, right now, if it's okay, if I'm allowed to do that. She's kept me on the straight and narrow for several years, you know, so that's saying a lot for me, I'm sure. But anyway, I've been in Shelby County for about 58 years, folks. I've been around a long time. And I've been a property owner in Bartlett for about 43 years. And I'm not bragging about that. But I translate that into property taxes that I paid for Bartlett, and I'm telling you, for a small little guy like me, it's pretty good size little chunk of money. So that's the reason I'd like to have just a little say in our government, if I could, because I've been here a long time, and I go up and down Stage Road, and I see some of the things that need to be corrected. Like I say, Bartlett is a great place to live and raise a family, but there's a few corrections that need to be made. You know, you can't drive from here to California without making a few corrections every once in a while. So we've got some issues coming up that we need to face, and we're going to have to face them. And they might be expensive. You know, it's expensive to do some of the things that we need to do here in this city. We got some sewer problems everybody knows about. We've got things that need to be addressed, streets that need to be paved. And with the price of oil right now, it's not cheap paving these streets, folks. So we got some issues that's going to cost some money. And, you know, I've been around a long time, and I know that interest rates have been real low. And now they're up in the 6% range, and we're all freaking out over that. Well, let me tell you, folks, I saw 18% interest rates a few years ago in the real estate business. Some of y'all may remember that. And if you translate that into today's real estate market, our house notes would be a lot higher than what they are now. So we have to be careful. We got to watch every penny. I'm saying that to say this, that I've been around long enough to know to take care of our pennies while we've got them, and be careful how we spend them. And we know how to act in hard times, because everything's good right now, but you don't ever know how long it's going to last. And we've got to spend a lot of money, but we need to spend it wisely and stay within our budgets with the city. So I've been in the Memphis Board of Realtors about 43 years. I've been around for a while. I was potentate for Alchemia Shrine in '07. I was a recorder down there for about 8 years. And so I've known a lot of people. I appreciate all of you. And if you can see fit to vote for me, Position 1, Alderman, Position 1, I would appreciate it very much, folks. And that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next candidate for Position 1 is Victor Reed.
My name is Victor Reed, and I am running for Position 1 as Alderman. And I have to ask you, do you remember Frazier? Do you remember Hickory Hill? Do you remember Cordova? These questions need to be answered by the citizens of Bartlett. I think many of you see the policies that are being implemented before the demise of these shining communities of Shelby County. Shelby County is rapidly changing, accelerating the destruction of communities. If Bartlett does not make some changes, Bartlett will share the same fate. Bartlett is an amazing place to live. I am running for Alderman because I want to ensure that we preserve the humble history of this great community for our children and grandchildren. Before I get into how we keep Bartlett, let me share a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Memphis throughout my life. I have lived in various parts of the county. I've lived in Midtown, Hickory Hill, me in Cordova. We even spent some time in Marshall County just across the border in Mississippi. My wife Mary and my son Levi, who is 7, and we are members at Bellevue Baptist Church. In 2019, our family chose to move to Bartlett. We want to be close to our friends and family. My grandparents and parents and many of our friends live in Bartlett. That makes me the 3rd generation Bartlett resident, and my son may become the 4th. I work as a mechanic and a service writer at a repair facility. I'm in the process of starting my own company. My family moved to Bartlett because I was given the promise of excellent schools and safe streets. Instead, the current aldermen have put us on a track to become the next Cordova. I will not sit by and let investment firms, developers, and Shelby County policies take advantage of our beautiful cities. It's time we stop electing the well-connected, the elite, the in crowd, and instead elect individuals that keep Bartlett Bartlett. So how do we keep Bartlett Bartlett? As alderman, I intend to conserve the policies and foundations that strengthen Bartlett. We can secure Bartlett's future as a place where faith, family, and freedom will flourish. The timing and planning of the Union Depot could not be worse. The recently elected progressive DA, crime on the rise, our schools and utilities overburdened, and the current economic outlook, a project like this only exists to benefit the special interests of Bartlett and Shelby County politicians. I will do everything in my power to make sure this project is never completed. Bartlett does not need more high-density or affordable housing. We need beautiful single-family homes with strong HOAs. When the market crashes and we can't build the Union Depot, they will apply for Section 8 and it will not be denied. The investor's only interest is return on investment. They do not care about the cultural cost to the community. Remember Fraser? Remember Hickory Hill? Remember Whitehaven? Remember Cordova? These prior communities fell to the housing projects of all types. A huge factor that drives the fall of communities is an economic crisis. Will we have to remember Bartlett next? Many of you remember these surrounding communities and even grew up in them. And you are here tonight because you left those neighborhoods to provide safety and good education to your families. Will we allow our communities and schools to fall to the crime and greed in Shelby County? We need to restore authority in our schools. Over the last 2 years, the Bartlett School Administration has demonstrated it will prioritize federal funds over the well-being and education of our children. Your right as a parent to determine what is safe and best for your child's education must come before the federal dollar. I will ensure our school board is transparent about requirements attached to the acceptance of federal funding. If they do not have clarification on the requirements, they must deny it. More of the bowing down to mammon is to come. Believe it or not, we have not hit bottom for what man will do for money. Our children are on the table. It's time to keep Bartlett Bartlett. Bartlett has such a humble history. To not be proud of the accomplishments of man's doing, but fearing and trusting God with the blessings of this community is something to marvel at. I have never met a person that scoffs at Bartlett. It's just Bartlett, and I love that. I do understand that there are seasons and times to change, and I firmly believe that Bartlett is at a crossroads and we must be progressive and adapt to the changes around us. But we must conserve the value which makes Bartlett an amazing place to live, the values of family, faith, and freedom. I will be a leader that will honor God with all that I do. I will put the interests of the well-being of the people first, and I will face the tough issues and not bow down to those who would seek to take advantage of what this great city has to offer. In closing, I leave you with one question. Should we add ourselves to the list of communities that have fallen big budgets? And that's it.
Thank you. Our final candidate for position 1 is Harold Brad King.
Good evening. My name is Harold Brad King, and I am running for Bartlett Alderman Position 1. I've been a Bartlett resident for 40 years, and I am a Christian, and my faith is very important to me, and I depend on God's guidance each and every day. I'm a member of Waypoint Baptist Church, where I serve as a deacon and have served as the chairman of the Finance Committee. I have been married to Vicki for 47 years. I have 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. I've been a Bartlett business owner for 40 years, owning King James Construction Company, Incorporated. I'm also a retired captain from the Memphis Fire Department, where I served 33 years. As the owner of the construction company, I have worked with budgets on construction projects in every home I've ever built. I understand the details of creating a budget and staying within the budget. During my years as a builder, I've had to deal with interest rates as high as 13, 14%, 9/11, the 2008 recession. You have to be prepared for hard and unpredictable times. Also, I served the Memphis Fire Department for 33 years. The last 15 years as an officer in charge of an apparatus and men under my supervision. During this time, I had to make hard decisions on a daily basis, sometimes to determine whether people's property are saved, or sometimes determine whether their life is saved. The City of Bartlett is a $90 million business with 700 employees. As a longtime business owner, I feel my experience managing a business, understanding the importance of a budget, and making critical decisions in tough times is an asset I can bring to the city as an alderman. The current mayor administration has done a great job setting the right foundation for us to continue to grow in the right direction. Bartlett needs to grow quality growth, both commercial and residential. We need to be able to shop in Bartlett for the needs of all of our family. The Ford Blue Oval City is only going to be a 20-minute commute to Bartlett. We need to prepare and be ready for the additional housing and retail that's going to bring to our community. We need some more 55-plus communities, so older citizens that get older don't want to leave Bartlett, that can live in a community where they don't have to keep the yard up or their maintenance. Some of our growth has been slowed by the Fletcher Creek sewer issue, where we can only discharge sewer during nighttime issues. We need to resolve that in the most cost-effective way for our citizens. We need to continue to fund our fire and police department. We have a great fire and police department, with our response time being so much lower than our sister cities. We also need to have an employment package that attracts people to want to work for the city of Bartlett, and when they work here, they want to stay here. We have a great school system with great leadership. Our schools district has been named a level 5 school district by the Tennessee Department of Education, which is one of the highest that you can receive. A recent study details the stunning economical impact of medical device industry of Shelby County's economy. Bartlett is in the center of that area's cluster, which is only second in North America. This industry is a $4 million impact on our economy. We must continue to grow with that. Another recent study said that the 6 suburban cities within Shelby County, Bartlett contributes $8.3 billion of $16.9 billion. That just shows you how successful the economy is in Bartlett. We need to continue that growth. For Bartlett to continue to grow, for Bartlett to provide important services, we need tax dollars with growth in the industrial, additional housing, and quality business in Bartlett. Bartlett is a great city. Is it perfect? No. Is any city perfect? No. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But with hard work, we can make those improvements. So if you want someone with business experience, a heart for serving, and someone that is honest and hardworking, please vote for Harold Brad King, Alderman, Bartlett, Tennessee, Position 1. Thank you.
So once again, our 4 candidates for Position 1 are CASPER Briggs, Jimmy D. Norman, Victor Reed, and Harold Brad King. We have 4 candidates for Position 2. Our first presenter will be Thomas Stephen Jr.
Hello, y'all. First of all, thank you guys so much for being here. I know you're taking some time out of your day, out of your evening, and I really appreciate y'all wanting to come out, learn about the candidates, and just participate in this forum. It's really great. So my name is Thomas Stephen Jr., and I'm running for Alderman Position 2. And what I'd like to do is introduce myself and also let you know why I chose to run for Alderman. So first of all, again, my name is Thomas. I've been in Bartlett now for 7 years or so. We moved out here, my wife and I, she's right over there, her name's Angela. We graduated from the University of Memphis, and we lived in what they call a starter home over by the university. And what that really means is that it is teeny tiny, a little tiny place. And so we lived there, and it was great for the two of us. And then we had a child, my number one son, his name is Cameron. And so when Cameron was born, we ran out of space. That's how it is when you have a kid and you have less than 800 square feet in your home. So we decided, we looked at different places that we could go. You know, you start looking at what communities are around. And Bartlett was number one. It was where we wanted to be. Primarily because we knew that his education, that his experience here, that everything that Bartlett can offer was going to be the best for our child. So Cameron is now, he goes to Rivercrest Elementary. He's in the 3rd grade. He just started the theater club, which is very exciting and going to take up a bunch of time. He has a lot of other extracurriculars. He does everything here in Bartlett. So he does karate at USA Karate, and he does piano at the Memphis Music Academy, which is also really exciting. He's very good at it. My wife works for the Shelby County Drug Court, Division 8. She's been there for 14 years. She worked with Judge Tim Dwyer. Some of y'all may know him. He just retired, which we're very happy for him, and he had a great career there. So I want to talk a little bit about the reason I decided to run and sort of how I was called to run for office. I've never run for political office before, and it's not really something I ever considered. But there was a specific incident, there are a few things, but there was a specific moment where I realized that I had to do this. My son and I, it was a few years back, and we were at Ellendale Park, and that's right around the corner from my house. It's a park we choose to go to. And if you've ever been there, you turn left, and there's a nice little playground, and there's a little walking path that goes over a couple of bridges, and there's a big pavilion where you can have cookout or whatever you may like over there. So we went over there, he's playing on the playground, and he sees a half-full water bottle sitting on the playground. He says, "Dad, there's a water bottle here." So we'll just pick it up and throw it away, bud. And so, you know, we decided he played on the playground a little more, and you know, he was 6 years old, I suppose, so he loved walking over the bridges. So we said, okay, we're going to walk around the walking path. And as we start walking, we notice that there's some other trash around. And it looked like somebody had had some kind of party or cookout, and maybe a stack of napkins blew away, that sort of thing. And so we're walking along, and he sees another little piece of trash, and I say, "All right, buddy, go pick it up, throw it away." And I say, "You know, we're gonna clean up the park, right? It's, you know, Dad's teaching a lesson, right?" And so we walk over the bridge, and he says, "Dad, there's trash in the creek." And I just thought, oh, I am not climbing into a creek today. That's not happening. And so I said, "Buddy, somebody else is gonna get that." And so we keep walking, and we get around to the pavilion, and I was like, "All right, pal, this is it. You know, let's go to work." And he said, "Somebody else will get that." And I just, oh boy. And I found myself climbing into a creek. And so I got down in there and I got that trash out, and I just thought, somebody else will do that is not okay. And it may seem like picking up a little trash is a small thing. It's a small act to bend down and pick that up. But it makes a huge impact in our community. And so there are small things in Bartlett that we see or that we don't see, that we move past every day without noticing. And we don't think to ourselves even that somebody else will get it. We drive by. Or yeah, we see that thing and we go, boy, that's a problem. So my number one priority as a candidate, I want to support first responders, first of all. We have firefighters here and EMTs here that do not get the support that they need. I would also like to support maintenance workers here in Bartlett. And I want to address the fact that we have out-of-state and out-of-country interests coming into our city, purchasing up property and offering it for rent, and it's not going well. I have them in my neighborhood over in I've got to go. I'm over in East Hill. We got them there too, and I want to get rid of them. Thank y'all so much. My name is Thomas.
Thank you. Our second candidate to speak for position 2 is Robert Griffin.
Good evening. My name is Robert Griffin. I'm running for Bartlett Aldermen Position 2, and I'm being endorsed by Emily Elliott, who held this seat for 24 years until she retired this summer. I was born and raised in Memphis, graduated from Central Baptist School, which is just on the other side of the Bartlett city limit sign over on Raleigh-LaGrange. Graduated from Pensacola Christian College with a degree in broadcasting, and I've worked in the marketing and advertising industry for the last 20 plus years, including as VP of Marketing for Memphis in May. I've lived in Bartlett for almost 16 years, and I've been married for 22. I'm a member of Bellevue Baptist Church, and I've served on one of their hospitality teams for the last 17 years. I love Bartlett. I approve of the job that the mayor and aldermen have done in managing Bartlett, especially in fully funding the police, while so many communities are talking about defunding theirs. And Mayor McDonald likes to say that people come to Bartlett for the schools, but they stay for the safety. And I'd like to keep both of those statements true. Good schools, safe communities. But beyond fully funding the police, I think we need to make sure that we're paying our police, fire, and public works crews a competitive wage so that we can keep them long term, rather than spending the money to recruit, hire, and train them, only to find that after a couple of years they're leaving to go to another municipality or MLGW in the public works crew's case for just a couple bucks more an hour. And while that we pay them a great starting wage, but competitively, they're leaving to go someplace else. And I don't want us to continue to be the training center for the other municipalities, police, fire, and public works. Now, obviously that requires funding, but I don't think we need to increase our tax rate. I think we need to increase our tax base. And we can fund our Bartlett quality of life by bringing in businesses to fill these many empty storefronts we see up and down 64 and 70. I've heard from several business owners who tell us that Bartlett city government sometimes is difficult to work with, or they tell us that sometimes the ordinances or restrictions that we have in place are cumbersome, or they're hard to navigate. And I think part of that comes if we could make our city government easier to work with and more friendly to the business community, and show the business community that we want them to come here. They're less likely to choose the other suburbs and choose Bartlett instead. As aldermen, I want to make sure that our city is welcoming to business. I want to make sure that we talk to those business owners and find out what are those obstacles that could be removed or maybe adjusted that may be inhibiting our growth, but without compromising our standards. Along those same lines, I think we need to attract a broader, not just more, but a broader base of dining and retail options in Bartlett. When it's time for back to school shopping, where do you do that in Bartlett? Exactly. We've got a wide array of fast food joints. Although I'm clearly not opposed to cherry limeade from Sonic, you can tell by looking. However, if you're going out for an anniversary dinner or a nice night out on the town, where are you going? I've seen a lot of y'all's Facebook posts. You're going to Coastal Fish or Southern Social or Capitol Grill or Stony River. All of these are in Germantown or East Memphis or Memphis. You're not staying in Bartlett for those kind of occasions. And I think we need to make sure that we are offering that broad option, or the broader array of options in Bartlett, rather than just the discount and fast food joints that we have a proliferation of. There's one way I think that we can accomplish that in Bartlett. I think Bartlett needs our own zip codes. I talked to Mayor McDonald about this. I've talked to Emily Elliott about this, so that we're not sharing these zip codes with Memphis. Germantown and Collierville have their own zip codes, and it makes a difference when retailers and developers are considering that area for a new development or a new center, a new shopping opportunity. And along with other factors, those retailers will pull an analysis of zip codes and look at the average housing price or the average income. And if you look at the city of Bartlett, the average housing price last month in Bartlett, $346,000. However, the 38134 zip code, $226,000. 38135, $297,000. And the 38133 is $273,000. So when developers are looking at our zip codes that include these parts of Memphis, our numbers drop significantly. And to be fair, this issue has been tackled by the last 3 mayors, but with no results. But the last time that this was done was when George W. Bush was in office. And one of the things that I learned when I was at Memphis in May, we worked with a wide variety of government entities, is persistence is the key. You've got to stay after this. This isn't a one and done proposition. We've got to be persistent. And I think with a new mayor, a new board of aldermen, plus our congressional delegation all pushing for this one key aspect, for Tennessee's 9th largest city, I think this is an important piece that we can get done that will have a long-term impact on Bartlett. So let's stay after it. I want to make Bartlett as attractive to businesses as it is to us as homeowners. This allows us to expand the number of jobs, expand our tax base, fill those empty storefronts, and keep Bartlett tax dollars in Bartlett. Robert Griffin for Position 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. Our third candidate for Position 2 is Brandon S. WEISE.
Good afternoon. Just want to thank everybody for coming out. I appreciate the big crowds. We need to inform voters. I hope you can select a candidate. All these are great guys with great credentials. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Brandon WEISE. I've been a Bartlett resident since approximately 88, 89. We moved from Raleigh to Bartlett. My father is a retired Federal Express executive. My mother is a retired high school teacher. My girlfriend is a teacher. I'm a graduate of Bartlett High School in 1996. My sister graduated from Bartlett High School. I have a bachelor's degree specializing in political science and criminal justice. I just want to, my job experience as far as I've been 10 years with Shelby County government, Register of Deeds. Before that, I was with probate court. I dealt with all types of people with during all types of stages in their life, from judges, politicians, people that are desperate, looking for answers. Extracurricular activities. I was Eagle Scout with 2 Eagle Palms. I was president of the largest co-ed service fraternity on campus at the University of Tennessee at Martin. I'm a board member, currently a board member of the Bartlett Historical Society. I was co-president of the UT Alumni Network. Why am I running? Well, I've been called to run. I mean, some people are called to be football players, some people are called to be newspaper reporters. I believe my calling is politics. And some people say, well, why would you do that? Well, if you have kids in school, you're paying property taxes, you're driving on our Bartlett streets. I mean, you're already involved in politics, whether you like it or not. Basically, why am I running? I have a passion for my hometown. I'm proud of what's been built. We're actually standing on the shoulders of previous leaders. I mean, we didn't get here by accident. I mean, Judge Marr, Mayor McDonald, Ms. Smith, who just retired from Bartlett High, 50 years as a Latin teacher. I want to continue that leadership. Okay, what are my goals? I like to say goals rather than promises, because promises sometimes are broken. Goals are more reasonable. I want limited, I like, whenever possible, focus on the neighborhood decisions. Local, what may be right for Davis Plantation may not be right for Country Club Estates, and that's fine. Whenever possible, I like to defer to the neighborhoods and hear the community input, get neighborhood input about what they want in their particular area. I'd be happy to work with our team who's already in place, like Mr. Threadgill and the Chamber, and graph out our city into sections, what we need to focus on. I think we need more anchor stores. I don't think we're in crisis mode. I think every part of the city, I've worked with people in Arlington and Memphis, every city goes through phases. We just need to stay on the ball, don't give up. Be as competitive as we can. Are we business friendly? I believe in smart growth as well. I don't want to see just Walmart, super deep, I want to see, greenery. I want to see trees. I think it helps everybody out. It helps the builders, it helps the homeowners, it helps the whole city. Like the previous gentleman said, I like to limit the number of rentals. That's a problem. Mayor McDonald and Parsons and Alderman Parsons, Alderman Quinn, they're working on that concurrently. We have to read the rules, the federal and state rules about what we can do as far as that. I have worked directly with Trey Hargett and as well as Jim Coley as far as walking the streets of Bartlett. So I have experience doing that. We have several big issues coming up. Of course, Blue Oval City with the Ford plant. That's going to be the FedEx of West Tennessee. I mean, if we don't get on, we don't jump on that, I mean, we're going to lose out. I mean, big time. They've already started leasing apartments up in up north, or I believe Lake, and I forgot the city, but we got to get in front of that. I would like your vote. My name is Brandon WEISE. I have a Bartlett background, running for position 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our fourth candidate for position 2 is Stephen Spencer. I'm sorry, I thought he had arrived tonight. So our 4 candidates for position 2 are Thomas Stephen Jr., Robert Griffin, Brandon WEISE, and Stephen Spencer. We have 2 candidates running for position 3. First to present tonight will be Paul KAISER.
I'm Paul KAISER, and I'm running for Bartlett Alderman, position 3. My wife is in typical fashion, is in the very back row, last pew, the very back, one waving her hands right now. Anyway, my wife and I have been married for 34 years. In that time, we've learned one thing, and I think it's an important lesson. When we have problems and issues we're trying to work through, we try to never get too historical. We're looking tonight to talk about Bartlett's future and how we look, how we feel, and how we'll be. I decided to run for Alderman position 3 because it is a pivotal turning point with several open Alderman seats to be filled. Bartlett is a great city. With a new administration, it's important to recognize the hard work and accomplishment of those who served before us, and we appreciate their service. My background, a little bit about me, includes 30 years as a Bartlett resident. I've raised 2 children here in Bartlett. I'm a member of Bellevue Baptist Church. Started a Farmers Insurance Agency. Franchise here 29 years ago as a sole proprietor here in Bartlett. I'm also a member of the Chamber of Commerce. My volunteer service for Bartlett includes 16 years as a planning commissioner. Also 4 years as chairman of that and 4 years as a vice chair. I'm also currently on the Board of Zoning Appeals. I've also served 9 years on the Bartlett Historic Commission and also served on Bartlett Parks and Recreation Board. Thriving communities may be viewed as safe, must be viewed as safe, clean, attractive to retain members, draw growing families interested in investing in their lives, livelihoods, and retire in the city. The backbone of our community lies in the public services that Bartlett has, and Bartlett has some of the best. Police and fire departments are on the front lines of our public safety. Law enforcement is the key to safe streets, and the right police staffing, technology, and equipment are key to both keeping our police officers safe and our citizens safe. Our public works department is essential to maintain a clean and healthy, orderly environment for everyone. The beauty of our city is enhanced by our parks and green space is very important. Finally, our schools hold a great responsibility to training our youth to perform well in an increasingly competitive world. We need to be able to attract and retain people to do all these jobs while offering competitive compensation, promoting from within, and we can further our mission for a vibrant, prosperous city. Bartlett's position to grow with continued development in Blue Oval. This will provide the city unique opportunities to capitalize on ancillary commercial and retail business growth by also attracting manufacturing facilities along with technical jobs and retail opportunities. Each administration has its own problems unique to its time and place. Attention is needed to encourage development for various properties along our main thoroughfares. Available incentives need to be employed to improve the appearance and viability of these areas. Our wastewater treatment infrastructure is in need of attention, and that's only going to intensify. That way we should also be judicious and carefully balance the needs and priorities of our city on the edge of booming growth with available revenue and income streams. The city's credit rating, which is important, is good, and financial structure is sound. It is incumbent upon our elected officials to support and manage growth while being good stewards of the citizens' tax dollars. My vision for Bartlett, it is a shining example of a thriving family-oriented community hallmarked by safe streets, excellence in education, and attractive amenities. That is why we will join together and drive Bartlett toward a bright and prosperous future for our current residents, retail businesses, industries, and attract others to our great city. I believe my proven volunteer service and commitment to Bartlett makes me the best candidate for this position. I appreciate your support and vote for Paul KAISER, Alderman, Position 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Our second candidate for position 3 is David Reeves.
Get my readers out. I'm not going to use them a whole lot because I've had 3 different speeches and I'm just going to plain toss all of them. And one of the things I'm going to say tonight is we have a fantastic group up here and I don't think we can go wrong with the folks that we have. Guys, I'm David Reeves. I'm a community guy. I've lived here for 34 years, graduated from Bartlett High School in 1994, met my wife Stephanie there, high school sweetheart in 95. We've been married 25 years next year. When we graduated, we made the determination, when a lot of our friends were heading to build up Arlington and Lakeland and those other towns, we were going to stay here and be a part of this community. And we had our children. We have 3 beautiful children. Lauren Katie who's here tonight, my son Harrison who's in Knoxville at UT Knoxville, and then my youngest son Josh who's a senior at Bartlett High School. All 3 Bartlett grads, except for my son Josh who's graduating this year. He plans to go to Service Academy. Guys, I've always looked at Bartlett through the eyes of my children and my parents. My parents still live here. My grandparents still live here. My kids live here for now until they go off to college. And to me, that's important. That's an important thought process for me when I'm looking through the eyes of the city of Bartlett. When I see you out there, I see so many people that I ate at your house when I was in high school, right? Cheerleaders who cheered for me when I played football. You know, it's such an awesome city, and to be here so long and know so many people. And I'm so privileged. I've served in a lot of different capacities over the past 12 years, the past 20 years. Many of you know some of my exploits. I spent 4 years on the Shelby County School Board, and I got involved in on the Shelby County School Board because I couldn't get the grass cut at the elementary school, and I knew that what was going on in the elementary school wasn't indicative of what we saw out there, right? So I decided to get elected to the school board, and you know what? Within 3 months, I was enrolled in the largest consolidation of schools in the history of the U.S. And you know what? We came out of that in awesome shape. Our education system here in Bartlett's phenomenal. One of the things I had to do was negotiate the price of our buildings. And we got them for 7 cents on the dollar. Because what we have to realize, Bartlett is not an island. Bartlett is part of a regional structure in which we have the most violent city in the United States sitting to our west, and the most explosive growth in the county heading to our northeast and to our southeast. And we're in the middle. So we're in a position now that's fundamentally important for our citizens. When I hear from you, I hear things like, I don't know if Bartlett is safe anymore. We don't have high quality retail. That's what I hear. David, I don't know if I want to retire here. And for my kids, I don't want to live here if we don't have more. So we have to be able to balance both, right? Now me as an aging 40-something-year-old, 46 years old, and I'm looking at my kids and they're trying to make a decision where they're going to live. Same decision that we had 25 years ago. I want them to live in a town and come back and live here after they leave college and they want to be a part of this community. So I'm going to focus on 3 different things. Number 1 is I want to make sure that organizationally in Bartlett, our employees are our best asset. And we need to make sure that we have the right leadership leading our employees, and we need to make sure that they're compensated fairly and have a quality of life that competes with the private sector. Because right now we're having a hard time retaining and recruiting employees for that very reason. We're not competing with other governments, we're competing with the private sector. One of my other things that I enjoy doing with some friends and partners is we bought Side Porch Steakhouse last year. And we had the opportunity to buy that because it was a passion of ours. We loved eating there, and we wanted to revive it for the city of Bartlett. But guys, it was hard to open that business back up here in Bartlett. It's not easy to do business here. It needs to be something you can put on one sheet of paper, because we hear the same concerns from other people who try to own high-quality business, high-quality retail here. It's hard to do business in Bartlett. I want to make sure that it's simple. One sheet of paper. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we invest in Parks and Rec. It's one of our most untapped potentials here in Bartlett. It's one of our biggest pieces of infrastructure. And I want to make sure that we have awesome staff, but they don't have enough to make it a differentiator in our community. Guys, I want a safe community. We're going to have awesome schools, and we're going to continue to invest in our employees. And we're going to make it easy to do business here in Bartlett. I'm David Reeves, and I'm running for Alderman Position 2. Thank you.
Once again, our candidates for Position 3 are Paul KAISER and David Reeves. And now, before we invite our candidates to go to their respective tables, I'd like to call John THREADGILL back up for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Randy. I didn't know I was going to have to come up here. Well, I think Randy said it well, and so did David, and that is we got a great group here. I was very impressed, excuse me, with all of them. I think they all showed the passion for this community. They want to see it grow. They want to see it continue as being a dynamic city, but also maintain that small town feel. Excuse me. We are now, someone said that we're the 9th largest city. No, actually we're now the 11th largest city. We were the 10th largest city. And as a Chamber of Commerce, you know, the one thing I like to talk about was Bartlett being the 10th largest city in the state of Tennessee. We have slipped a little bit. The town in West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, outside of Nashville, Hendersonville, some of you may know that, slowly slipped past us. But I think we're going to get back in that 10th spot, but only if we choose to continue growing and doing so smartly, as has been said here tonight. We do not want to just let go of the reins and just let, you know, growth go wild. We want to have smart growth, but growth comes with opportunities, and there's also the need for tax revenues and those type of things. So there's a lot of factors, folks, a lot of factors you got to take into consideration. And these folks right here, the three that come out as being elected, are going to have to work very closely with the new administration in determining how best to move this community forward. So it's very, very important that y'all really think it through, select the ones that you think will do the best job, and God bless. And all with you. So good luck, gentlemen. We appreciate it very much. I've noticed there's no women up here at all. So I'm just curious about that. You women? So anyway, gentlemen, good luck to you. We'll see you November 8th, okay? Thank you. Thank you.